Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, in the weekly analysis for you, on the screen are the pairs that will be analyzed today, but make sure you stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store for you. I'll go through my trade for the week first on pound Aussie. We'll discuss that in detail, then progress to the rest of the video, going through different pairs. So if there is a particular pair you want to see my analysis to, feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps below. But as I said, I did take some shorts on pound Aussie, which ended up in a loss. It was the bonus pair. I'm still pretty confident on a move down, the swing to these lows around 1.82. That's still the move I'm looking at. So the next best opportunity I see is to short it. I will be looking to enter and take part in some more shorting opportunities. However, the first trade I did take did up in a loss. Price was looking good on the retest of that consolidation. If I flick back to the daily chart, you can see we had a very large range here. Price broke through the range with some decent momentum. I was looking for the retest of that area for the continuation, but as you can see, the trade did fail. So it might mean that we do see a bit more upside, but if I flick back to the 4H, you can see overall the move is still pretty corrective. So I do think eventually we are going to take a dive lower. Now it's just me waiting for the next best opportunity to short it, maybe a break of structure, a retest of a level, and then I'll be looking to take my trades based on that. But yeah, I did take a loss down pound Aussie, but I fit the plan very well. It was a high probable opportunity. Now I'm just on to the next trade and rinse and repeat essentially. But did take some shorts on pound Aussie, which ended up in a 1R loss. Bringing it back to Euro USD. Now Euro for me is still in an area which I'm still focused on shorts, but as we've seen for most of, since the start of the year, haven't really seen too much momentum across the board, especially for the dollar pairs. A lot of consolidation, pretty much all of them consolidating. If I flick to the 4H time frame, you can see price action has been very messy, but I do expect momentum to pick up anyway. So I do think we can see some nice breakouts. Whether it's going to be up or down is yet to be seen. But when the momentum does come, I think there will be some really nice opportunities shortly after. But as I said, I'm still looking for downside at these areas closer to this level here, 1.1 1.105. I'm a bear. Close to these levels here, I'm a bull. And you can kind of see the market for Euro USD is kind of ranging, more or less equal highs there, a bit of a fake out, more or less equal lows here, there as well. So for Euro USD, we haven't really gone anywhere, hence why closer to these areas I'm looking to sell, and closer to these areas I'm looking to buy. There isn't really a clear trend at play. Yes, there's trends within the kind of overall direction, overall consensus of the market, but we haven't really gone anywhere for some time. So when we're coming up to some big areas like this, I've got to be looking to short, and coming down to those areas I'm looking to long. So taking that information onto the 4H, I'm waiting for a break of this consolidation, which I'm pretty sure was my analysis coming into the week. As I said, if we can break the consolidation, find a retest, that looks like a good short opportunity. Back to the lows here, which is this daily swing low, that looks like a good target. Or you can stretch a little bit further into that level, but I think it would be a little bit smarter just to keep your profit at these areas, since it is a little bit of a choppy market. Not really the best condition to try and push trades too far, because it isn't really a trend. There isn't really an overall direction to the market, so we're going to see a lot more fluctuation in these conditions until the higher time frames look a little bit cleaner. But yeah, my analysis coming into the week was looking for the break and retest of this range, which we didn't really see this week. It did look like price was starting to try and break higher, but not very confidently. We've broken back in a couple of times as well. We're still seeing strong momentum. In fact, a lot of wick rejection up at the highs there. So yeah, I wouldn't read too much into that move. I'm still looking at this as overall consolidation on the 4H. If we can break lower, then simply looking for the retest of the range here at around 1.09. And then some shorts back into the low there, 1.075, looks good to me. And that's kind of how I'm looking to play Euro USD. And then potentially, as I've been saying, there could be some buys back up again closer to these areas. And yeah, I will be looking to change my bias when we get there. But overall, market conditions aren't that great. So I'm not really focused on dollar pairs this week. Dollar CAD looks okay. Well, of course, we'll get to that. But the dollar pairs across the board don't look that great. The yen pairs are starting to shape up. Still focused on pound Aussie as well, so that's kind of where my focus is. But if I do get into anything, I would have to see a nice break of the consolidation, retest, and some shorts back into the low. So that will be the plan next week for Euro USD. Okay, so moving on to dollar yen. So dollar yen, I'm looking at some selling opportunities for this one. Again, I was talking about price holding on to 145, which was this level here, and seeing a move to the downside, and I'm still interested in the same opportunity. It did look like we were breaking through at one point. I think Wednesday's candle, Wednesday's candle, big move to the upside. Looked like price was breaking past 145, leaving that behind, and potentially could be coming back for a retest. However, with the way the weekly candle has closed, it does look like we've just left another big wick to the upside. The market's still failing to break through 145, and this wick here kind of represents that bullish move that we saw on the daily and the 4H breaking through 145 may just be a fake move, and the market will be getting ready to roll over next week. So I'm still looking for the shorts. We've broken out this big ascending channel. We've come back to 150, big double top reaction at that area, strong bearish impulsive move breaking through that structure. So I'm still looking for more shorting opportunities for a move down to 138, which is this level here. So the shorts is still the main move I'm looking at. Like I've been saying across the board, the M pairs, I'm still looking for downside opportunities for them. Although again, they may still go a little bit higher. I'm not really interested in the buys. I think the bigger swing, the more meat in the move is to the downside rather to the upside, according to my analysis anyway. So I'm looking for more downside here for dollar yen. As I said, there still could be a retest, and the market could still use that to continue higher. So I want to see some signs that the market's breaking through, give me a nice break and retest some structure, and that's when I'll start looking for some shorting opportunities. Not looking to short straight away. It does look like it may be a fake move. The market's still holding onto that level, but again, at the same time, it could still retest and continue higher. So I want to see price breaking back underneath, giving us retest, and then on that pullback, then I'll be happy to find some shorts. And again, targets back down to 138. Don't have to push the trade that far. There is still some key support around 140-ish, 141-ish, coming back into this low here. You don't necessarily have to push your trade all the way back down to 138. This is still a very reasonable place to have a target and take your profits off the table. So it's up to you how far you want to push the trade, but for me, I'm looking for a bit more of a swing here back down to these levels. We had a really strong reaction off the 150 level and a really strong shift in momentum from that as well. So now if you're going to hold on to 145, I'm keen for some selling opportunities. 141 looks like a good target, and also some extended targets there at 138. So that'll be the plan next week for dollar yen. Okay, so moving on to dollar CAD. So I did say I don't really like the dollar pairs this week, apart from dollar CAD. Dollar CAD looks like the only one which I would entertain an opportunity on. Overall, dollar CAD conditions are not great. They are consolidating, equal highs, equal lows. However, I do really like the momentum we've seen in this bearish leg here, and coming back into this area here around 1.348, 1.35. Close to the midpoint of the range. I do think there could be some nice short-term opportunities for some sells back down again. Now, I'm not looking to push trades too far in these conditions. Like I said, not really seeing much of a trend here in dollar CAD until we break out the highs or the lows, and then maybe there'll be a trend after that. But in these areas, we have to pay attention to support and resistance, because as we can see, the market just keeps bouncing between them. So for dollar CAD, I'm still looking for a little bit more upside before I start entertaining any short ideas in this area here. And that kind of does fit the picture of what I'm looking at across the board. It still does look like we might be seeing a little bit more strength in the DXY, a little bit more strength in dollar, which could translate to dollar CAD moving up a little bit higher, coming into these areas before we do look for selling opportunities. As I stated, for Euro USD as well, looking for some long opportunity close to these areas. So we might still see some bearish weakness before we do buy back up again. I'll talk about pound USD later on, and gold as well, which does look to fit the same picture as well. So it does look like we might still be seeing a bit of strength in the dollar, which could translate to some sells at a later date in the coming weeks. But at the moment, dollar CAD for me, again, another pair that's kind of just consolidating. So I'm waiting for price to break higher. We broke through this with great momentum. I think this is a fantastic place to look for short opportunities. Not looking to short from that level outright, so I won't just be waiting for price to get there and then just short straight away. I'll wait for some development, some low lows, low highs, and then look to pick my trade from that perspective. But in terms of the opportunity I'm looking at, I'm still looking at shorts for dollar CAD. 1.348, 1.35 is a fantastic level to short from, and targets right back down to the swing lows of the range here. Nothing too complicated. So that's the analysis going into next week for dollar CAD. Okay, so moving on to Euro Pound. So Euro Pound, I must say, I'm really not a fan of this pair at the moment. Just very, very choppy. If I do expand to the higher time frames, you can see that we are kind of just a ranging market here. We do have some big support, big resistance above us, and simply the market has been fluctuating between those two levels. As of late, we have seen some nice momentum in the past, but we're becoming a little bit more corrective now, which again is not a great sign. And we're approaching a big level of support, which again was the targets for this week, which we didn't quite get to. I mean, pretty much all this week, this is what we saw. Just consolidation really. So we were very close last week and we're still close this week as well, but it does look like a test of that level is pretty imminent. So there could be some buying opportunities coming into this area. If we can see some nice reversal price action, some higher highs, higher lows, there could be a buy back up again from this same level. Is it a trade idea that I would look to take? No. I don't think it is worth my time. And again, the condition I'm looking for, trending. I want price to be breaking lows, taking out highs, and I want to see clear direction. I can't really see clear direction here. Yes, it's a big level of support, but I need a bit more than that for me to deem an opportunity to be of high probability. So there could be some nice reverse opportunities coming back into this area. Market might create some equal highs, some fake outs, some high highs, high lows, and you can look to find a retest of a level somewhere and jump into some longs there on the low time frame. So that could be a long opportunity there for Euro Pound. But again, nothing that really does fit my plan well, take into account the conditions of the market. So keep an eye on some buys for Euro Pound around 0.857. But quite frankly, this pair will be a hard skip for me this week in terms of making it onto my watch list. In terms of targets, I'll probably be looking at this area here. Nice level of support, now turn resistance, and this was actually the level I was expecting price to come and retest as resistance and then continue down, but it didn't quite happen. So we haven't really retested that level, so the market maybe gravitated towards that area to have a retest before seeing some downside. So makes sense for an area for a TP to place at, or at least to manage your trade from. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for Euro Pound, coming back into a big level of support, ranging market, struggling to break through the level. If you do see some reversal opportunities, I do think the buys here look good going to next week. But yeah, nothing that I'll be focused on, but looking at some upside from 0.857 for Euro Pound. Okay, so moving on to Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar came into the week pretty bearish, looking for more downside. I did say it would be nice if you have a pullback and then short, but we kind of just built up this consolidation. So Aussie dollar still looking for a move down. I've highlighted some areas where we could come back and retest. This level here just below 0.66 and this level here on 0.65 makes sense for some nice healthy targets for some shorts. If you go to the higher time frames, you can see the market has been very consistent with all of these lower highs, and again we pull back into another one, so naturally expecting price to react bearish here and see some downside. So that's kind of where I've got my bearish bias from for this particular market. As of late, as I said, the dollar pairs have just been consolidating. Aussie dollar, no different. Very choppy price action here. So if we can break lower, come back to retest it, this could be a nice shorting opportunity on the retest of 0.668. And from that area, you can look to find some entries and place a stop loss above and take advantage of some downside momentum. Now, again, depending how far you want to push the trade, 0.66 is a pretty big level. So is 0.65. If you push to 0.65, there's of course a possibility price does this and goes against you. So if you're looking for a bigger risk reward, less probability price gets there. But if price gets there, you do get a big win. So there's pros and cons to both targets, but both look reasonably sensible, and areas where potentially buyers will be looking to see if price can reverse and see if they can push price higher. But overall, Aussie dollar still looking more downside, again still fitting to the idea that I'm still expecting a bit more dollar strength in the market before maybe some weakness in a longer term scale comes into the market. So if we can see a break and retest of that level there, could be some nice shorts. Targets 0.66, 0.65 for next week. Okay, so over to NZD CAD. So NZD CAD has been giving us a very prolonged consolidation here. The market hasn't gone anywhere for a while. I've just been talking about consolidation week after week for this pair. And again, still waiting for a breakout. As I've stated multiple times, these conditions here are no man's land, at least for myself here. I don't want to be looking at any type of opportunity in here. And again, the brain has tendency of tricking us that, okay, there might be a little opportunity in here, maybe short buy or short-term sell opportunity, but most of the time it's not worth your while. I know for me, the best market conditions for the way I trade are trending, and I can comfortably say that is not a trending market condition. So again, waiting for the breakout. I have highlighted some big levels on the higher time frames where the market has repeatedly rejected. We've got a big level of support here, which the market is just trading above. So again, if you do break higher, there's a good chance we move to our next area of resistance, which I would say is up here around 0.86865. If you do break underneath the level back to the downside, then of course I'm looking for price to come to these areas eventually as well. So I've got targets either side, so I'm not really bothered which way we break up or down, because there'll probably be good opportunities going both ways. Now it's just us waiting for the market to break out and then waiting for opportunities to present themselves. But yeah, right now NZD CAD is just consolidating, so the analysis has not changed since last week. Again, still waiting for price to break lower, and then we can find some opportunity to short to the downside, or if price does break higher, then we can find some opportunities on the retest to the upside, and again looking for the exact same thing in the opposite direction. In terms of target straight away, I'll probably just be looking at these lows here to manage my trade, potentially looking to swing a lot further, but these points here would definitely be important to look at managing a trade from. And of course to the upside, we've got some important highs over here as well, where I'll probably look to take profit, and some partials, not really partials because I'm not doing that anymore, but trail my stop loss at least, because these areas could of course send price back down against me. So I'll be aware of these zones around 0.85, 200. So yeah, that's the plan for NZD CAD. It hasn't changed one bit really. Still looking for the consolidation to break, and then look to plan our trades, whether we're breaking up or breaking down. But that's the analysis going forward into next week. Okay, so over to pound NZD. So still looking for shorts for this one. I've been looking for shorts on the retest of 2.04. I was a bit more focused on pound Aussie, which is a very similar pair to this one. So I didn't really look to take any positions on this one. But again, they move the same. See if I win both trades really, or I lose both trades. But I'm still looking for shorts on pound NZD, depending how it sets up. If it sets up better than pound Aussie, I'll focus on this pair a little bit more. But I have two areas which I'm focused on. First area, it looks like price maybe looking to break through, but overall not really confident price action. Overall still very corrective, so still looking at this as a pullback for eventually the market to continue bearish. If we do see some development here, market failing at the highs, breaking some structure, retesting, then we could find a nice opportunity to short from this area and some downside. And again, depending how far I want to push the trade, targets back down to here make a lot of sense. You probably get 1 to 2, 1 to 3 here, maybe even more depending on your entry. So risk reward looks pretty good as well. But again, I'm still looking to push trades a little bit further into this low here. I do think we have a pretty good chance of getting there. And also there's a second level up here where we had this brief consolidation here, market broke down. We could see a retest of that area again before some downside. So if the market does want to correct and pull back a little bit higher and retest that area, again same, looking for the exact same idea for a move back down to these areas, and again that area there will suffice as well. But in terms of the swing, I'm looking for a big move for both pound Aussie and pound NZD. And again, both pairs are very similar, so I'm expecting both of them to do similar things. But in terms of the levels I'm interested in, 2.0385, 2.06, both look very good, depending how the market moves and reacts, because again, we could start rolling over. Not really confident price action on the breakout, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some bearish structure developing pretty early on next week. If we do see a sudden move higher, test this level, and again, looking for the same thing, shorts, back down to this low here at 2.006, and then eventually 1.98 down there. So that will be the plan next week for pound NZD. Okay, so over to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen looks like price is trying to break higher. It's a similar opportunity to dollar yen, and of course it's another yen pair. And I think a lot of yen pairs from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday may have made a big up move, maybe attracted some buyers late into the market, taking out some liquidity of some early sellers, and we're seeing a lot of momentum coming back down after that. So I do think some shorting opportunities are looking good for next week, maybe the week after, for the yen pairs. And I've been speaking about CAD Yen, about this kind of mid-level here, because we've got this big level support down at 104,500. We've got this big level of resistance up there at 111. Market has been fluctuating between those two levels, but importantly as well, we've had this kind of mid-level between the two where price has been fluctuating quite a lot. Support, 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 resistance, resistance, briefly support there as well. So this is an area of interest, and I said if price does break through this, chances are price is going to move back to the highs, and if we reject it, chances are price is going to come back down. We haven't really seen clear price, actually been very, very choppy, but I'm looking at this as a fake move, trying to get price to move higher, and now price is coming back down. I do think eventually we're going to see something like this happen. Trap some people, trap some early sellers who probably were selling from the level earlier on, taking out some liquidity there, and now that we've done that, price is kind of, ready and prepped up for this down move. Again, I would say I would still want to see price break a lot lower, because again, this could still be acting as support, and I wouldn't be surprised if price does push on, similar to dollar yen, which again is coming back into that same 145 level, which again could act as support and send price up. So taking this back to the full H time frame, if we could start doing something like this, break some structure to the downside, then yeah, that could be a really nice short opportunity there to take and jump into some sells with this as our resistance, and again some targets back down at 105, which again is just where price keeps fluctuating from. So it's a pretty probabilistic move to expect the market to make. As you can see, the conditions are pretty much just up and down, and of course we are still rejecting the price swing high there on the left as well, having a tough time trying to break through. So for me, I was about to say dollar yen, CAD yen looks like a really good short opportunity. I'll wait for price to start breaking underneath though, just to give me some development there, because again, could still add that support and could still send price higher. And it's not a bad buy opportunity as well, but based on how the market's moving, based on the weekly time frame as well, still leaving us big wicks to the upside, I do think there's a good chance we're going to see a continuation lower. I'm still looking at this as a big impulse, kind of a very big complex correction, and I'm looking at another impulse to the downside. So that is my plan next week for CAD yen. Still looking at more downside on the retest of 107.730 for a push back to the lows at 105. So let's see if we can get some shorts next week for CAD yen. Okay, so over to pound USD. So pound USD still looking for some selling opportunities. Nothing's really happened since the last time we spoke. Nothing's really developed. I'm still looking for the exact same move as I was talking about last week. We're still trading in this range inside this consolidation. I said I was looking for the break of the neckline of this head and shoulder pattern. And to be honest, the head and shoulder pattern now is just looking like pure consolidation, really. It's difficult to spot a left head and a right in this mess. So if we can just break the consolidation to the downside, that would be fantastic. And then from there, looking for the retest of the range for some shorts back down to 1.25-ish into this low. Looks like a good place to take some profit, manage your trade. We do have a daily target there just underneath a big level of resistance previously, now acting as support, or potentially could act as support. So still looking for some downside. The bullish trend we've seen over the past couple of weeks, couple of months actually, is starting to lose steam. It's not really showing much confidence of continuing that trend. Of course, if we do see a strong impulsive break, maybe the trend will continue, but as of right now, it still looks pretty tired, pretty exhausted, and I'm looking for some counter trend opportunities. This is not really a bullish trend that I would like to follow and look for more upside from. I'm looking for a reversal, at least a bigger retracement. But first, of course, we need to break that consolidation to the downside, find some retests on 1.26198. Then we've got some shorts back to 1.25 and 1.245 as well. So the plan for pound USD hasn't changed since last week. Again, still a lot of consolidation on the dollar pairs. So much of them analysis hasn't changed since last week, and as long as we consolidate, it won't change much either. But if we can see some breakouts, hopefully we can see next week and start looking for some short opportunities. So keep an eye on some downside on pound USD once we do get the breakout. Okay, so pound CAD. So pound CAD, we've been looking for upside for the past couple of weeks. We've seen a really nice move back into 1.71. It's coming to one of the two targets I gave out. I said I was looking for a bullish reversal off the back of this descending channel, which we saw. Didn't really get the opportunity to find some entries there. Didn't quite give me the entry signal, but nonetheless, nice move to the upside. I was talking about this high being a target, this high as well, and pretty much the daily level of resistance just above us. But we are coming back into the first kind of major target now, and the way that we've got there, the way that we've seen this bullish move, it isn't really a sign that the trend is likely to continue higher. Again, very corrective, lacking momentum, looking tired already. So I do expect us to eventually see some downside and a push back down from this area. If I quickly go back to the daily chart, you can see it is a pretty big level, strong reaction there to the upside, and I expect that to kick back in and see another move down. Again, for pound CAD, there isn't really a trend at play. That you can argue maybe there is a slight bullish trend, but overall it's just a very corrective move and kind of like a big ascending structure, which eventually might see a move back down. And again, that could happen a few weeks, a few months into the future. So not necessarily looking for a huge move down yet, but we're kind of trying to play between the lines, between the important levels of support and resistance, and making sure we're taking trades in the right area, not in the middle of nowhere. And we're coming back into a key level of resistance. So if we do see some signs of reversal, some breakup structure, I do think coming from this area could be some nice sells right back down to where we came from the past couple of weeks. So for pound CAD, looking to see if we can retest this area 1.71, see some signs of reversal, break of structure, lower lows, lower highs, and then off the back of that, we can look to find some trading opportunities, take some entries, put stop loss above the level, and then of course look to take advantage of a nice bearish swing back down to the 1.685 level. So that's the plan for pound CAD next week. Looking for sales, as I said, the bullish move is just very exhausted already, hasn't really seen much momentum, so I'm expecting to see the bears kick in and us reject this 1.71 level resistance. If we do break through, then we're probably looking at a push to 1.73, but I'm more interested in the sales based on how price is moving. This bullish move doesn't really give me much confidence to jump into some buys and follow that move higher. I'd rather be looking for the counter opportunity. So that's the plan next week for pound CAD. Okay, so over to pound yen. So pound yen, still I'm looking for bearish opportunities with this one, not really looking to buy pound yen. I spoke about areas where we're getting to on the higher time frames, particularly the monthly time frame. You can see big area of supply resistance coming into this area here, big move to the downside, a lot of selling pressure. Now we're coming back into those same areas again. We can see the way that the market is moving on the weekly chart, a lot of tide momentum. We did see a big push not too long ago, but since then market's been very corrective. We can see that illustrated on the daily even further as well, kind of like a big ascending channel, if you will, which again we expect the market to eventually bleed lower. So I'm looking for some bearish opportunities, but again, timing is important because the market is still bullish. We haven't broken through any meaningful low yet, so timing is very important, not looking to jump the gun. But to me, this looks like potentially the market has just pushed higher aggressively, printed that lower high, and potentially could be seeing the market starting to spill lower. We've taken out some highs here on the left, which I think price most likely just grab liquidity above and getting ready to fund that move lower. Again, the way that we broke high was with a lot of momentum, which yes, if the market does retest and starts continuing higher, I'll back away. We're probably going back to the highs at that point. But if you can see some strong momentum equal to that bullish momentum coming back down, that has red flags all over it, big fake move, and potentially you could be seeing that as the next major lower high in comparison to this high over here. Potentially the next lower high, and potentially get some shorts back down to this support level. I do think we can go further, but we just have to play it level by level at the moment. You can see the market has rejected this area multiple times, so don't want to be too greedy with our selling opportunities just yet. So pound yen looking for sells. Again, I'm not really interested in buys. Of course, there's a possibility that the market does come back, retest this level, and continue higher. Not interested in the buys for myself, only looking to sell. So if you do see some strong rejections there, strong entry signals, there could be some nice buys to take advantage of. But as I've said, I'm not interested in the buys and focus on the sell. So if we can break back underneath, could actually be seeing somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern with the left, the head, and the right shoulder, and that could provide some nice entries on the retest of that level. Stop loss just a few bits above the high, of course, depending on the entry. Again, looking to take it back into that daily level of support, which I just highlighted into this area here around 180. So that's the plan next week for dollar yen, not dollar yen, pound yen, sorry. You can see across the board, dollar yen, CAD yen, pound yen as well. I'm looking for downside on these yen pairs. A lot of them come to big areas in the higher time frames. A lot of them showing signs of exhaustion on the higher time frame trends. So I'm starting to look for these counter opportunities, but again, stress on the highlight of counter. These are not pro trend trades. You have to be a bit more conservative. and wait for the entry to develop before taking, because again, you could get burnt and these trends could still continue higher. So you have to be careful with them. But I'm looking for some shorts here for pound yen. I want to see a strong move back down early in the week, and then look for a correction and a continuation back to 180. So that's the plan next week for pound yen. Okay, so moving on to gold. So gold still trading in a big level of higher time frame resistance. If we go to the weekly chart, I've spoken about this level multiple times now. As we can see, still trading this big level of resistance. So for myself, as a longer term gold bull, doesn't make sense for me to be looking to find some bullish entries in this area, just because it's such a big level of resistance. You can see the market has rejected the area numerous times, so it's not a smart place to look to buy from. Of course, doesn't mean we can't move higher from this area. It just means it's not really an opportunity which I want to be a part of. I want price either to break through it, then I'll look for retest above it, or break away, find some support lower down, and then again I can take advantage of some buys back up from some more probable areas. But at the moment, we're still trading in this area, so again, I'm not really interested in buying the market unless we do break higher. We've seen some strong bullish momentum for gold just before the week ended there. You can see a big move to the upside coming back into that level. If that maintains and we see price go and take this high out, then as I've said over the past couple of weeks, I'll be inclined to look for buys, because at that point we're above the area, we're breaking through highs again, and now I can probably expect this wick to fill back to 2150. So this looks like a smart buy for my sake for gold. But of course, still a long way away. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see price come straight back down, because again, we're still rejecting that level, and then actually come back down to these areas here as well. So I would of course watch out for that bearish opportunity. If you can start breaking through some lows again, is kind of what I was stating midweek. A retest of this area could give some nice shorts back into the low there on 1980 as well. So I can still see the market go both ways. Reason being, we're still in that big level of resistance, so market can still break through the level and give us some buying opportunities, or still reject the level and sell off again. I want to see how price reacts with this area. Do we keep that momentum? Do we go and break through? Okay, then we focus on the buys. Do we come straight back down? That could just be one big fake move, and then we're looking for some sales in the break and retest to take advantage of some moves back down to 1980. So keep an eye on these two areas here around 2020 and 2090, buys above, sells below, and then we'll look to find some opportunities. But in here, it's just a little bit too indecisive, so I would sit on my hands at these prices, because it's too hard to tell if price is going to keep going or just come right back down again. But that is my analysis speaking on gold for next week. Okay, so Bitcoin up next. So we've seen a big rejection of 47k, and again, we have been speaking about this level of supply level resistance. I've been saying this is kind of the last major obstacle Bitcoin has in its way from a technical standpoint. Anyway, from a technical standpoint, this is the last kind of major area of resistance supply, where sellers are lurking at. If we do break through this, and I don't see much reason for the Bitcoin to suddenly plummet again, of course, unless unforeseen circumstances happen. Fundamentally, Bitcoin can do whatever. But from a technical standpoint, looking at the chart, looking at the price action, this is kind of the last area, the last wall of defense the bears have, really. If we do see price breaking through this, I think it's only a matter of time before we do get back to the highs again, around 65, 67k. So for Bitcoin, we are rejecting this area. You can see big wick to the upside. Market came back into that resistance supply and rejected it pretty aggressively, and we're still kind of resting inside that range. Doesn't really change the bigger picture though. It might mean we have some more retracement. For me, this is still the #1 area which I would like to see Bitcoin retrace to find some buys back up again. Nice level support. We'll be acting as support again. That looks like a really nice place to find some buys, but I don't think we'll see a pullback that big. We may just come back to some areas of support in this area here, and again see Bitcoin just react, maybe hold it for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then push back on bullish as well. So I'll keep an eye around 41k and a bigger pullback around 36k, because these are the areas where I do think buyers will be sitting at to try and push price highs. Because let's not forget, although we have seen a pretty big rejection of 47k, Bitcoin is still very, very bullish. We've had this huge move to the upside here. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of bullish momentum involved with Bitcoin right now. So although we've had an aggressive sell-off to the downside there, doesn't really change anything, to be honest. You know, if you look at it in context with this huge move, that bearish candle, there's only like, what, 15% of that bullish move. Doesn't really change anything. So although we are reacting with a big level, a lot of you know, bearish momentum from this area, doesn't really change anything in the grand scheme of things. So I'm looking at this bearish move as just retracement for price to kick on again. And like I said, if we do break through 47k, see some strong daily, weekly candle closures above this area, I think it's only a matter of time before we do reach the highs again. But looking at some retracement for Bitcoin, either 41 or 36k, and yeah, looking to take Bitcoin back up again. Okay, so last but not least, we've got Euro Yen, another Yen pair. Again, I'm still looking for downside across the board for the Yen pairs. Maybe Aussie Yen and New Zealand Yen, and CHF JPY as well. Those pairs I'm kind of taking a back seat on, but Euro Yen, Pound Yen, Dollar Yen, CAD Yen, those pairs do look good for shorting opportunities. So I'll be focusing a lot of those pairs going into next week, and Euro Yen included. I really do like Euro Yen. Euro Yen might be my favorite. Maybe a company with Dollar Yen out of the Yen pairs. I do like the opportunity here. We have here. We've come back into a big level in the higher time frames. This is the monthly chart for Euro Yen. You can see where we've come into big area of supply resistance. Huge move to the downside here in 98, 99, and also another big move here to the downside 2008. And again, we've come back into those prices. Now, will we see a big move to the downside? Possibly. Am I looking for that? No. You know, in terms of probability, I think there's a good chance we could come back and retest this high here around 150, and that's kind of all I'm looking for. We'll see what price does. We may react bullish, come back up again, we may break through. We'll discuss that at a later date. But right now, we've come into a big level of resistance, 163, 164. You've seen a pretty big reaction there on the monthly. Nice wick to the upside. Nice bearish engulfing candle coming back down. So I'm simply looking for retracement and continuation coming back to the downside. And again, bring that to the daily chart. It does look like we've seen a big head and shoulder pattern, left head and possible right shoulder. Now I'm expecting some downside off the back of that. So I don't normally short on a right shoulder. I like waiting for price to break the neckline and then looking for opportunities after. But the way the market has moved, we've had such an impulsive leg to the downside. Now it looks like we're having a larger correction, and I'm expecting a downside move after that. If we can see some lower lows and lower highs creeping back in, similar to CAD Yen, similar to Pound Yen, similar to Dollar Yen, I will be looking for breaking retest, because at least we've got some bearish structure to play with. And again, looking for a move back down into 155, which again is this level of daily support here, as this is where the market has rejected so far very aggressively. I do expect us to break through, but there's a good chance we could come back up again. So I think it would be smart to take your profit down at those areas. But yeah, for me, Euro Yen looks like it's come back into big level, strong reaction, looking for some lower lows and lower highs. And if I can see some nice bearish structure, I'll be looking to play some trades to go short. So yeah, Euro Yen, I do think we can see some downside back to 155, 500, 155. As long as we do get that bearish development there, then I'll be looking to play some trades. But yeah, Yen pairs for me look like they could be seeing some nice downside for the next maybe a few weeks or maybe even a couple of months. So keep an eye out for that. But that does bring us to the end of the analysis, guys. If you do want to see my watch list going into next week, make sure you do check out my Telegram channel. Link in the description to that. I share my watch list there every single week. So stay in the loop. Go check that out. If you have enjoyed the video, guys, please be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't done it already, and also hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Leave a comment down below. Any pairs you're interested in looking at, let me know. I'm interested to find out. But nonetheless, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Trade safe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.